It's very auspicious to start our day with Mangal Aarti. Mangal means auspiciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This Mongol and the Mongol Grey, that is different. Right?
Mangal is the name of the clan. Mangal Aarti, Mangal means auspiciousness.
So Mongol Grey auspicious time.
I don't know like that. The clan name is auspicious. I mean, Mangal. Mangal is always auspicious. But Mangal means auspicious. So, and Prabhupada says that one place that the only thing in this world is auspicious is Krishna consciousness. You get job, is also inauspicious. You lose job, inauspicious. You get married, inauspicious. You don't get married, inauspicious. You get promotion, inauspicious. Everything is inauspicious in this material. Because material world is inauspicious place. Only auspiciousness thing is if you are serving Krishna, pleasing Guru, if you are doing everything under their guidance, then it is auspicious. If you are not under their guidance, you are not connected to Krishna, inauspicious. Understood? Just like you go to the wrong flight. So whatever you do is all inauspicious. You get an executive class seat, inauspicious. You get luxurious seat, inauspicious. But if you are in the right flight, even though suppose your chair breakdowns, you have to stand and go, auspicious.
प्रभु मैं रथ यात्रा में था वो मेडिटेशन वाले स्टॉल पे था तो एक इस्कॉन के प्रभु भी आ रहे थे वो थे वहां पे उधर ही तो मैं उनको ले जा रहा मेडिटेशन के लिए मुझे बोले थे बाल उड़ा दो वो यंग यंग डिवोटी थे वो बाल उड़ा दे मैंने बोला उड़ाऊंगा तो बोला कब अभी उड़ा तो बोला प्रभुपाद ने बोला है उड़ाओ मतलब यू स्पीकिंग इन इंग्लिश I don't know the exact words, but like the meaning of like that.
Oh, the same temple.
No, वहीं से तो आए थे कहीं और के थे मुझे बोला भाई उड़ा दो तो बाल मतलब कब उड़ाते हैं
Join as a brahmachari.
ब्रह्मचारी लोग करते हैं and the one who
during Diksha time.
Huh?
During Diksha, and Grihastha also can do.
Grihastha also. But significance क्या है
first time many Grihastha will also follow.
Follow का significance मतलब exactly क्या
है? No much attention to body, like it's detachment, sign of detachment. Because people in Kali Yuga, especially, they like their hair a lot. Bhagavatam is mentioned that in Kali Yuga, if they have nice hairstyle, that is considered to be Saundarita, beautifulness. So that's why Bhagavatam says that in Kali Yuga, people will have a lot of hairs, especially men will keep different kinds of hairstyle also. So women also, but men also will consider that to be a sign of beauty, manliness, or like that. So it is already mentioned, Keshala Lavanyam, like that. So there are two kinds of sadhus, two kinds of ascetics. One is they just don't care, just allow their hair and beard to grow. They don't care. That is one way of being honest. And not worrying about any hairstyle.
Oh, like just, okay.
Like second kind of just clean shave. So we do clean shave because we are in preaching mission. We are not keeping hairs and beard. Let's say Prabhupada expected his all followers to have clean shave. Clean shave, especially beard and mustache, we should have clean shave. And then hair also. If so, many times that time during Prabhupada's time, it was a norm, and everybody would shave. Many men would just keep shaving. So, and I've seen also many grihasthas they keep shaving. There are grihasthas like that. But sometimes some consideration because of company or this and that, especially in India. Sometimes people may not. But you should not have like long hair and all. You should have the proper hair. Hare Krishna kind of say.
मैं सोच रहा था ऐसे थोड़ा बड़े करने का सोचने वाला था मेरे बीच में ऐसी
पहले
नहीं अभी सोच रहा था अच्छा लग वो कर्ली हो जाता है वो अच्छा लग रहा था
इसलिए तो नहीं करना why whom we want it
no one like
that's why we should not care.
I never did like long hair
why should we keep anything in our body? There should be some criteria. What are the criteria that what will please Guru and Krishna? Whatever Guru and Krishna wants me to be, right? Like that. So like a wife, she should dress not as per her own whims. Whatever is pleasing to the family, pleasing to the husband, she should accordingly dress. So everything we do is for the pleasure of Krishna. So we are all servants of Krishna. So we should also, do everything by which Krishna is pleased. So why we have Vaishnava attire? Because Vaishnava attire is actually pleases Krishna. So attire is spiritual. Simple attire. And it also, you don't unnecessarily too much focus on body. And you have to dress some way the body. So that should be for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Like that. So that's why we keep short hair, clean shave. One disciple of Prabhupada is arguing that Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had long hair, so I'm also keeping long. So
हाँ मैं थोड़ा ऐसे लॉजिक में जा रहा था
who told you about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? You Prabhupada. What is my hairstyle? And what I am telling. So that is like you do not imitate. And then you now you imitate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you imitate Krishna also. So now I'm very 16,000 I'm not get close. And then dance with gopis also. So that cannot, we cannot imitate. We have to follow. We should follow Krishna's teachings and follow his teachings, not imitate. Imitation can lead to
Arjuna is
dangerous
also very
consequences.
elevated, right? So we cannot even like imitate Arjuna as well.
Arjuna was a Kshatriya.
Yeah.
During those days, kings would make it
Long hair.
sometimes they keep like that. But you cannot imitate. And that time they are allowed to marry also. More than one wife.
Polygamy.
They could maintain also. So now if you marry more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can you maintain? You cannot maintain one wife also. That also becomes savage. So anyway, the point is we do everything for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Basically, we don't take it up anything. And that's a problem sometimes happens in ISKCON also. People sometimes have their own ideas. It's not good. The whole principle of bhakti is that we live for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Then everything becomes simple. But if we don't live like that, then people want to have their own things. They want to impress somebody, impress their players, look good. Why you want to look good? I just want to look good. But for what? So look good what? What way you can look good is by your qualities. Develop humility, develop submission to Guru. Look good in the eyes of Krishna, not in the eyes of the people, not for yourself. So that's why the whole principle of bhakti is like this. How can I be pleasing Krishna and Guru? That is bhakti. Okay, so I'm studying this sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very beautiful chapter. So sometimes I will discuss purport, other times we'll just read the translation. Shri Parikshit Uvacha
Shri Parikshit Uvacha
Nivritti Marga Kathita
Nivritta
Margah Kathita
Ado Bhagavata Yatha. You can also join the
Ado
screen.
Bhagavata
Ado Bhagavatayata
Brahmayoga Palabdhena
Brahmayogo Palabadena
Brahmana Yada Sansritihi.
Brahmayana Yad Asamsriti.
We can put this thing. TV. TV is there beneath. Behind this. Then we can see. Review better. आप कमजोर लग रहे हैं So Maharaj Parikshit said, "Oh my Lord, हो सुखदेव गोस्वामी आप बैठो एक दिन बैठ जाएगा नहीं सो जाएगा ज्यादा भारी नहीं ना ना इसका इसका हो गया चार्जर इसका होगा कहीं चार्जर होगा आप एक बात की टीवी पर थोड़ा Okay, so you said yeah, TV lang. Oh yeah. Okay. Nothing.
Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Sumit Prabhu. Hare Krishna Pranay Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So, yeah.
Florida.
Sorry?
You're in Boston?
I am in Boston. I wake up at 8 on the weekends. So that's why I missed this. Yesterday I didn't even check my phone much. Was doing elsewhere, so that's why I should have joined earlier though. That's my fault.
I see, Prabhu.
You guys are at a devotee's house?
Yeah, we are at Sri Srivas Chandra Prabhu's house.
Oh, Srinivasan Prabhu's.
No, we gave each other names like Crash Brothers.
Sorry?
Crash Brothers.
Yeah. I didn't want to share that term with Raghav Prabhu.
Which is, oh my Lord, Sudhir Goswami, I have already described the second kind of the path of liberation, Nivritti Marga. There are two kinds of paths, Nivritti Marga and Nivritti Marga. What does it mean? What does it mean? Very simple. Nivritti Marga means the path of battling God. Nivritti Marga means path of going back to God. Okay? By following that path, one is suddenly elevated gradually to the highest of kindly system, Dhammaloka, from which one is promoted to a spiritual world along with God. That's one condition of birth and death in the material world. Along with Brahmaji also is pure devotee, who goes back to God. Most of the time. Sometimes some Brahmaji may not go and they can come. Following that path, so he's saying path of liberation, Nivritti Marga, is described. By following that path, one can gradually go to the spiritual world. Or one can directly go to the spiritual world, not gradually. So it says here, Maharaj Prashid was a Vaishnava. When he heard the description at the end of the first canto of the different hellish conditions of life, he was very much concerned how to liberate the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya and take them back to God. Fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describes so much of this about hellish planets. Some kinds of sins, we get what kind of sufferings are there. So we are accountable for every act what we do. Nothing is unpunished. Everything is God's. Sun, moon, there are different kinds of witnesses. And ultimate witness is super soul, the Lord. So nothing is hidden from the Lord. इसका कुछ तो होगा तोड़ दो
I think video is fine for me as long as audio is good.
ठीक है we'll only camera falling down.
No, he's saying it doesn't matter the video. Yeah, Srinivasan, if you're also able to keep the video on, it's good. If you are able. Okay. Anyway, so learn to be very attentive because we want to cover some tangible things. And we'll try not to divert the topic. We'll just try to focus on what is the main topic because it's a very important chapter. So, Parshit Maharaj is very much concerned about people in general, those who are so much suffering because of hellish conditions. This is, therefore, he reminded his spiritual master Sudhir Goswami about the Nivritti Marg, path of liberation, which is described in second canto. Maharaj Parshit, by the time of death, was fortunate to meet Sudhir Goswami, inquiring about the path of liberation at that crucial time. He inquired about the path of liberation at that crucial time. And he very much appreciated also. So, saying Parishad Maharaj was astonished that living entities in the conditional state do not accept the path of liberation, devotional service, instead of suffering in so many hellish conditions. Correct? But he is unhappy because of the unhappiness of others. Para dukkha dukhi. So, this is the characteristic of Vaishnava. Vaishnava is always unhappy seeing others' misdeeds. That is the characteristic of Vaishnava. Because in this world, everybody is thinking about their own happiness. Correct? So that's not being a Vaishnava. What makes a Vaishnava different? Because he doesn't think about his happiness, he thinks of others' happiness. This is the mood of a Vaishnava. When he makes God happy, then he becomes happy. And how can he make God happy? He can make God happy when God is happy to see all his kids, all his children. They are happy. How they can be happy when they are connected to their Supreme God. That's why the best service one can do is to preach the message of the God. That makes the Lord very happy. So that's why, because of Vaishnava's quality of being Paradukha, he extends himself to preach the message. To make God, to make everyone happy, to make God happy. He is compassionate toward the conditioned souls. And that's why he is asking this question. So he says, Samsriti means refers to continuing on the path of birth and death. Asamsriti means Nirti Marg, the path of liberation, by which one's birth and death cease, and one gradually progresses to Brahmaloka, when the pure devotee who does not care about going to higher conditions, in which case, one immediately returns home back to God. So unless one is a pure devotee who does not care about going to the higher condition system, in which case one immediately returns home back to God by executing devotional service. So what point is saying? One gradually progresses to Brahmaloka, path of liberation, unless one is a pure devotee who does not care. So one is completely pure, he can just directly go out. But sometimes somebody may need some more purification. But eventually they will go back to Bhagat by following the Nivritti Marg. So he says here, see, Krishna says, Bhagavata, by the process of Bhakti Yoga, one goes back to God and back to the spiritual world. Yogis, however, instead of going directly to the spiritual world, sometimes want to see the other planets. Therefore, they ascend to the planet system where Brahma lives, as indicated here by word Brahma. At the time of dissolution of Brahma, along with inhabitants of Brahma, they all go back to sleep. Because of their exotic question, those who are on Brahma at the time of dissolution can go directly back to Brahma. Bhakti Yoga is so powerful that it does not depend on Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. Bhakti Yoga itself is so powerful that an impious man with no assets in Karma Yoga or illiterate with no assets in Jnana Yoga can be related to the spiritual. We will go next. Then it says, O great sage, Siddha Goswami, unless the living entity is freed from the infection of the material modes of nature, he receives different types of bodies in which to enjoy or suffer. And according to the body, he is understood to have various inclinations. By following these inclinations, he traverses the path called Pravritti Marga, by which one may be elevated to the heavenly planets, as you have already described in third canto. Why we are having different types of bodies? Because of different infection. So that means what? Your material life till it continues till the time you have infections. What is the infection? Infection of modes of material nature. So Karanam Guna Samyasta, Karanam Guna Samyasta, Sat Asat Yoni Janichu. I'm little less rested, so somehow my little bit fine. Comfortable with my speech. Just not but, but I think you're able to hear me online also. Okay. Clear, right? My voice is clear.
Like the audio is a little bit distant. I'm not fully able to hear precisely what you're saying. I'm trying to read and follow along in the screen. I still actually had a question on the last paragraph on
What? Yeah, tell me.
can you say
Can
again?
can you hear me now, Prabhu? Is it better?
Yes. Now it's much better. I still was ruminating on the last paragraph on some acharyas have the opinion that you need to go through karma yoga and jnana yoga.
No. You don't have to go to.
That you don't have to go through.
Yeah, Bhakti Yoga is so powerful.
Okay. Sorry, can you repeat your question again? I'm sorry.
He's coming when Chaitanya Prabhu, he's coming.
Sorry?
He's coming, he went somewhere.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying Bhakti Yoga is so powerful that it does not require anything else. That's what
Okay. Because even the illiterate and the one who has no assets in jnana yoga can also reach
Yes.
God.
That is true. That is true. Now it's more clear, right? To you?
Can you continue talking?
It is better now, no? Better?
It is. It's still a little bit distant, but that's fine. I should be able to hear now. I actually, yeah, would prefer if the audio was clear because I'm listening, but
Now it must be better, no? Now it must be better.
it's a little bit better now. Yes.
You can see.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the point was this here, you can see. It says that Bhakti Yoga is so, see what it says, according to opinion of Acharyas, by first performing Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, and finally coming to the platform Bhakti Yoga, one can be liberated. Okay, so gradually one can get purified and then one can get to Bhakti Yoga. But Bhakti Yoga, however, is so powerful that it does not depend on Karma or Jnana Yoga. Itself so powerful that even an impious man with no assets in Karma Yoga or illiterate with no assets in Jnana Yoga can be related to spiritual world if he simply adheres to Bhakti Yoga. That means we don't have to worry about so much. Simply follow the path of Bhakti Yoga. Is it clear?
Yeah. Yes.
So anyway, let's go to next. So here it says that we are getting different kinds of bodies because of different infections. And what are those infections? Modes of material nature. Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, like that. So degree we have this lustiness, greediness, and anger and all that. So then you have to know that we are going to get next birth. We have to get the next birth. So we have to get purified of all this. The whole material life is going on because of the modes of material nature. Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Sattva-guna. We have to purify them. That's why we have a Krishna conscious lifestyle where we put ourselves in mode of goodness. And then by mode of goodness, also you are not liberated because mode of goodness is also binding. Mode of goodness will lead to some higher births, in fact, higher planets. So mode of goodness is a favorable mode where you can cultivate mode of pure goodness. That's why sadhakas are supposed to live in mode of goodness. Mode of goodness means what? So many things are there. You can take another session on that. Getting up. Then you should take bath. You should not have unclean. Also, one should be shaved. So this also keeps in mode of goodness. Clean shave because hair is comparatively hair is actually considered contaminated. So hair also increases the mood. Yeah. So if you have less hair, then you are practicing more in goodness. That also has connection. So that's why we don't unnecessarily keep it good because it creates dirtiness. If you have beard and mustache and all that, yes, okay. And also one should wear clean clothes. One should not wear the old clothes. Night when you sleep, that clothes should be separate. Then if you are wearing it, you get up, then you should wash it. Basically, every day which we use should be fresh. The bedding what we use, so after we get up, we fold the bedding. Fold the room the bedding is lying, and then you just, so bed system is not a very good system. Because that bed ignorance, and you are spending on bed, eating on bed, sleeping on bed, everything on bed. It is always common. So that's why I don't like this bed system. In our room also before bed was there. So I removed it all there. And in my room no beds. If no bed is there, then you can nicely clean it up, wipe the whole floor, then you are in good. So it all affects. It all affects. You can see that modern day boys are suffering so much of Rajaguna Tambula bad qualities. So much lusty, they will run after women. Then they're so much sleepy, sleep for 8 hours, 10 hours, still they can't remain active. And then they tend to watch some dirty content. And then they suffer with the problem of masturbation, nightfall, this kind of stuff. So all these things are because we are not treating our rules. We have to keep a lot of cleanliness, keep clean, keep clean externally, keep clean internally also. The external cleanness is some kind of goodness with them. And then by having yoga practice, then you have internal cleanness. That we can purify yourself like that. So it's a effort to fight against more, is actually it takes some effort. Especially on Tamoguna, Rajoguna, you have to put some effort. Then only you can come up. Otherwise, by default, Tamoguna, Rajoguna person will not get it. Has to take some consciousness. Because the nature of Tamoguna, the person will become lazy. Nature of Rajoguna, the person is driven by cravings. That's why one should take an effort under the guidance of somebody who is in goodness. So that's why we need some higher guidance. Because somebody who is better situated in goodness than you, he can guide you to come out of passion and ignorance. Because he will tell you, okay, do this, do that, live life like this. So he will help. Otherwise, you are blinded. Tamoguna is like you are asleep only. You are not active only, you are like and Rajoguna, so Tamoguna is like you are blinded and you are inactive. Rajoguna is like you are blinded but you are active also. You are blind and you are active. So Rajoguna means what? You are active or passive, but you are open, you are idle. You know what is what. So you may be sometimes passive also, but that passive is not ignorant. That's why sometimes Tamoguna and Sattva look similar. Sometimes they look like, in some cases, it may look like him because the Rajoguna, Tamoguna person also says, tomorrow some mishap happens, something is completely aloof to it. And Sattva person also is aloof, but Sattva person is aloof out of enlightenment. And Tamoguna person is aloof because this fellow is so irresponsible. Out of ignorance, he is aloof. You understand? So both may look sometimes on the same, but there are big differences. Anyway. उसको थोड़ा बंद करना फैन कूलर बंद कर दो काफी ठंडा आवाज कर रहा है और आप लाउडली बोलो ताकि चैनल को सुनाए फैन बंद कर दो ऑफ कर दो ये ठंडा हो गया ना
So like for the people who are like Krishna conscious only, but like for love standard beat, like what if like for some people like they still get anger, so for some reasons I don't know. So is that like not possible for them to get elevated? Why not? Because
our nature may be difficult. Or
yeah, because people, I've seen many old people as well, they are like just like that, but they are in Krishna consciousness. So I got a bit confused.
No. So there will be some natures of ours which may kind of not change much.
Yeah.
No, but we become aware of it, and then we can have some decent control over it.
Okay.
We don't do aparadha.
Mm-hmm.
We may not commit offense.
Yes,
So we may still have our nature. We may still Like somebody is short-tempered. So we have certain nature of our kind. But what bhakti, how it helps you, you become more and more honest observer of your own, ways of working, your body and mind. And then you have some control by which you make sure that you don't unnecessarily commit offenses. You don't get carried away by that too much. But we should forgive the devotees because of they have some kind of psychological nature. Some devotees are like I've seen very senior devotees also. Sometimes they may become little upset, quickly. But it doesn't mean that they're not advanced. They're advanced. But that is their psychological nature. But beneath, it's like so their this kind of nature is like some waves on the ocean. They're very deep. But you may see in surface something ups and downs. But they are not like I've seen also. They may be angry. They may become immediately angry. But afterward, they are not keeping any grievances towards you. They're very kind-hearted. If you ask them for forgiveness, they're very kind also. So that's why we should not misunderstand. Because for them it's a very passing phase. It's a passing moment. They may react certain ways. But we should not label them like he is Prabhu is very bad. He's angry for devotee. How can devotee be like this, Prabhu? How can devotee?
I was very much in the, with the thing like in my head. I was very.
Yeah, so we should not identify devotees with the natures also. And these natures are born. They're born with certain natures because of certain body they've got, certain mind they've got. So what we are talking about is that when you become more and more in goodness, I'm not saying that you completely change your personality in terms of all your psychophysical nature changes. Psychophysical nature still may remain quite this, but you actually get fine-tuned, in your overall perspective towards life. You don't get carried away by that. You're not controlled and carried away by that. That is very important.
In my experience, when I stopped the anger part, like the mode of goodness, like this works more.
Yeah. So you can think more, and we are all in journey also like that. So we may have a lot of transformation and changes, even in psychophysical perspective also. But certain things may be there, certain nature may be there. We should not worry too much about.
That's true.
That may happen. The certain way we respond, certain way we talk. Certain things may be there because certain bodily constitutions are made. But what we should understand, we should not see devotees with their natures as the main thing. We should see their surrender to Krishna. That is more important. Their natures may be whatever, but they are surrendering to Krishna. They are giving themselves to Krishna. That is most important. What is their values? What are their value system? That is more important. What is their character? What is their value? What they are looking for? That is more important.
Okay.
Not that you just get carried away with the superficial nature difference. Like suppose a devotee may talk like this. Are क्या तुम अच्छे से सेवा नहीं करते हो? No, he is saying like this. But he is a devotee. But now he's not angry also. But his tone is like that. He's not like and passion में करके ऐसा बोल रहे हैं. No, he may not be. He's just saying because he has such a nature like that to speak. तुम तो कुछ करते ही नहीं ढंग से. It does not mean that he means it. He has a lot of appreciation for all the devotees. But for the service of the Lord, he's annoyed. You are not serving properly. He may become upset, he may scold you. So you should not think otherwise too much. But at the same time, we don't give excuse to ourselves. If I deal in certain way, we should deal in a way that people unnecessarily not get disturbed or something like that. That we can work on our life. Whatever we can find, and be gentle as much as possible. We don't say that, Prabhu, ultimately I'm surrendered to Krishna. I don't accept a gentleman order. So that we don't take it as justification. At the same time, when we see devotees and having certain nature, certain traits, we should not too much try to we should not get disturbed too much. That devotee, certain ways he has brought up, his background might be like that.
Right.
Like, I'll tell you, one devotee would say like this. Loudly would say. So why would say loudly? Because he was from village. In village, everybody talks loudly. So other devotees may sometimes feel that this person is like too aggressive kind of person. Why he has to speak so? He's very commanding, trying to control others. No. If you see his background, no, he was like this only. Now he's a devotee. He has in heart, his level of respect is there. So it is a little sometimes difficult to that's why
We need to keep open mind.
we should always.
That's why I asked. Like,
And never judge a person by some moments.
Yeah.
Like sometimes say some devotee may become angry. Nonsense. What is it? Suppose he becomes angry, some moment. And that moment you take it as all in. Then you say, no, Prabhuji became angry. Okay. Now for whole life I'm close to. So that is not good. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, he may become angry, but that is not his, that is not his existence. That is his passing phase. He just became angry because of, not also because of his selfishness or something. Which you can't understand. What is it? He might have become angry because he had less respect. One consumption. See, there could be some material reasons to it also. He might have less respect maybe. Second thing is some 2-3 mistakes other devotees did. And he is annoyed that service to Krishna is getting hampered so much.
Yeah.
And later he also thinks that, oh, unnecessarily he gave him too much of stuff. He also is reflective. He also will understand. But circumstantially he got a bit carried away, not because of too much of rajoguna, but because of situations and also his attitude to serve something he was getting hampered. And there is some, he also may be struggling. He may be struggling devotee at his level. So we should not immediately discard the devotee. We should give them some, sympathy. Okay, he is also a struggling devotee. He is not like, we should not expect. Even pure devotee may also become angry. But even if you, don't accept him as a pure devotee, so he may be struggling devotee. And he's not like that is his overall existence all the time. He's repentant also. And momentarily he became a little more upset. Circumstantially he became upset. Like that. So, but he immediately reflects and he also feels bad. Why did I? That's why devotee come and ask forgiveness. So we should be open mind. We should not like immediately label. He's angry devotee. No, he's not angry devotee. He's a good devotee. Yeah. But sometimes apparently he may become a little upset. So we should not become too emotional and sentimental. So we should know how to live in the company of devotees. And don't take things so personally and seriously. Small.
My mother told me like Prabhupada said like the score for Krishna conscious thing is okay, but not like in extreme level.
No, so Prabhupada sometimes scold, his lips would quiver. Once Satsuru Maharaj cried. So Satsuru Maharaj, what he did? He put the envelope and he forgot to put the attachment. And Prabhupada wrote that I am putting the attachment. And that devotee did not receive that attachment. And Prabhupada was so upset. Satsuru Maharaj said, I forgot. And so why you forgot? Prabhupada, because I am conditioned. What? Like when Prabhupada was not leaving him only. And Prabhupada was like kept on and on and on. Finally, Satsuru Maharaj told that Prabhupada, I will attach it and again send it and I will ask forgiveness from him. He said, now do it. Khatam. That was the end of his anger and next moment he's completely free.
Yeah.
Completely peaceful. So Prabhupada
better.
He's not an enemy. He's not an enemy. But what happens? We think that person is my enemy.
That's
He's trying to control me. He's trying to chastise me. He thinks he's high about himself. So we start to fault him. That's our problem.
Actually, these are very deep things. The person needs to understand. Yeah. Because initially I was confused that mode of anger is wrong. No one should. I was
No, you will see. Seen Radhesham go angry. I've seen many devotees angry. Radhanath Maharaj becomes angry. You have been
Swami.
Radhanath is always smiling and all that.
Yeah.
But with his disciples, he becomes angry also. So when Acharya Prabhu comes, he was telling once, he was asking some question, and then Maharaj face became red, and he said, "What?" Maharaj literally like shouting. So their anger. So you should not foolishly think that no emotions, no. Pure devotee, there should be always emotions of smiling, laughing. No, devotee also can have emotions. And those emotions are for Krishna. It is not self-centered. They are not self-centered emotions. Emotions have no problem, but it's not self-centered. There can be anger. There can be frustration. But that anger and frustration is not born of mode of ignorance and passion. You understand? Of course, the frustration is not ignorant frustration. No? He's frustrated and becoming angry just to correct you, just to teach you, something like that. Is it clear?
Yeah.
We'll not go too much into now. I'm going to discuss something more. So different modes are there. Because of that, we have different inclinations. So by following these inclinations, it travels to the path of pravritti marga. So all that, if you are in mode of ignorance and passion and goodness, then you actually material life continues. So there's pravritti marga. So then you go to different planets and all that. So you never become devotee. So then you have also described the varieties of hellish life that results from impious activities. And you have described the first mantra which was preserved. Okay, I'll go further.
Mantra, like the first. Okay.
So everything you don't have to know. You just take focus. When you read, again, when you read, then you get more. So my dear Lord, you have described the dynasties and characters in Privartana of Tanpada. The personality of God has created this material world with various universes, planetary systems, planets and stars. And all that they're divided into various planets. Okay. We'll go ahead. So it says, kindly tell me how human beings may be saved from having to enter hellish condition in which they suffer terrible pains. Correct? This is what he's saying. So he says here, Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear Lord, I have no personal problems, for I have learned how to glorify your transcendental qualities and thus enter a trance of ecstasy. I do have a problem, however, but I am simply thinking of these rascals and fools who are busy with Maya Sukha, temporary happiness, without knowledge of devotional service unto you. This is the problem faced by a Vaishnava. So our problems, many times our problems are, मेरा job नहीं है, मेरा girlfriend से break हो गया, मेरा relatives के साथ झगड़ा हो गया, है ना, मेरा promotion नहीं हो रहा है, मेरा visa cancel हो गया, तो मैं that is our problem. This is one boy, such a brilliant boy. His name is Deep Prabhu. He just drove me to, Nashua. So, he came. So he was telling me that Prabhu, sometimes some fellows come with me telling that, no, mera breakup ho. I'm telling Prabhu, I give them very nice. I explain them. So what do you explain? So I explained them like this. What? Tell me what? I said, when you say mera breakup ho gaya, that means you're more concerned about mera. No, you understand? No?
Yeah.
Breakup ho gaya. So you're loving your mera only. No, you're not concerned about that girl actually. He told this point. No, he's a young boy, not 25 years old, but he knows it. He's not 16 or not devotee. He's a simple boy. He was in RSS and all, but he knows it. So he was telling. He asked that fellow, what? You are not attracted to that girl's, maybe some skin or some hair or something, whatever. So saying now, suppose the same hair, if I take and put in the thali, will you like it? टूट गया उसको ऐसे आपके प्लेट में आ जाए वो राइस दाल के साथ you immediately want to throw it out, correct? It's not dirty, right? So now और suppose वो लड़की का आपको उंगली काट आपको बहुत उसका उसके चमड़ी से
हाथ पसंद था तो हाथ काट
मतलब जो भी उसको आपको लड़की पसंद है आपको तो उसका हाथ का उंगली काट के दे दो आपको प्लेट में ले लो आपको गिफ्ट करवाएंगे my finger I'm gifting you because you love me so much, So you will do like this. Correct or not? So you will not have to. So the point is that actually when it is disconnected, he was telling this point. When it is disconnected, you simply just you feel so disgusted about it. Correct?
Yeah.
So actually you are identifying. It is your identification what you love, not the person, not the body. You are identifying, yourself. The mera meant for my enjoyment. That's all. That's what you love. So basically, what we are trying, we understand this because of our attachments. Right? So this car is, say the car is there in the parking lot, and you get a news. The car got into fire. So which car? Red color car. Red color car. Really? What was the model? Okay, it was whatever. Lamborghini or something. Not Lamborghini. What is the car model? Toyota car. Then you see my car also was Toyota and it's red color. And it becomes so panic.
Yeah.
Many cars jal gayi. When you go down, then you see it was not somebody else. Similar car only. Toyota, but something else. Then you feel so peaceful. You are not affected, you see. Immediately you do not affect. So 15 years before, 5 years before, say suppose in arranged marriage now, people get married now. So They don't even know also the person. So 5 days before, if that girl have died, we have no problem. No, but one day after the marriage, the girl dies, whole life he will have to lament. Fair or not? Because he has put his emotions, she is my wife. एक ही नहीं हुआ उसको लेकिन उसके बाद भी इतना अटैचमेंट हो जाता है. People can become so miserable, you see. Yeah. Same with child, month, the child may be there in the womb of the mother for some time. They are not even play, but it's when the child comes, so much they become attached. Now there's so many child dying, we don't have to wait. So what actually we cry is because of our own selfishness, our own selfish attachments. So that's what all our problems in this world is because of my happiness, my thing, my, me, mine. But Pradhan said, I have no personal problems. No personal problem. For I have learned how to glorify your transcendental qualities and turn transfer ecstasy. I have a problem that the fools and rascals cannot become Krishna Master. That is my problem. So, bro, I also experienced this to some extent. I was sending to one of my senior devotee when I was in Utkarsh. I was in third year. So we have brought some boys, for camp. So he was asking, what about this? So I was giving a report. He was doing like the So then I was just telling about different. And then I told this one point, I was just a young boy, I was just like 19 or 20. I was saying, just by being absorbed in trying to serve them, facilitate them in their Krishna consciousness, I feel sometimes what is my problem? There will be so many problems for us. We're also like trying to practice, so many things. We have conditioning and all that thing. And I was saying, Prabhu, when I'm trying to serve them, then sometimes I forget my own problems only. Because I'm so absorbed in trying to serve them. Yeah. So then he validated it. Yes, that's how it is. It works so powerfully. If you are absorbed in serving the mission, your personal problems will be over. And I've seen on my Taiji also, she was having so many health issues, from this pain, that pain. She would like comparing. My Dadaji got bypass surgery. What is it? Bade Papa. So he got bypass surgery, had severe health crisis, like a life and death. My Taiji had all health problems solved. All health problems got solved immediately. Just by that whole incident of my Taiji, her health problem was solved. Not solved. She has no concern about any kind of back pain. Everything is fine, and she's doing everything to take care of it. And if she even doesn't remember that she has some issues. Because she got absorbed. So even in this material world also you can see. When you have, seeing other fellows' problem, वो भी हम एक song है, दुनिया में कितना गम है, मेरा गम कितना कम है. When you are thinking about others' problems and all that, then you will forget your own problem. हमारा कुछ नहीं, what? So like that, we have to take the mission of the Lord. We have to become concerned about the people, how they are suffering in this world. We are not concerned about the people, we are concerned about us only. My parents, my relatives, my family. अरे कितने लोगों को क्या क्या हो रहा है दुनिया में, उसके कभी सोचते क्या, उसके लिए आंसू बहाएंगे? Are we crying tears for them? No, we are crying tears only for ourselves only. Selfish. So Vaishnava is different. He is a different category of person. His whole existence may be sometimes burning, but he is crying tears for others. This is Vaishnava. This is Haridas Thakur. He was bitten 22 marketplaces, but he was crying tears for, or he was praying for those people, because they are told, you are not getting killed, you are not dying, so we will be in trouble and all. Then he became very compassionate. So he told, okay, then he took samadhi and he apparently died. Then they threw him outside. So then, just so that they are not in trouble. Then he did that. So the point is that this is the nature of Vaishnava. Vaishnava is thinking about others' problems. Like you say, Shivachandra, in his young age only, when he was a small boy, school boy, his father, mother, brother all died. What? At one go. Car accident.
Who?
Shivachandra, whose house we are sitting. So when he was a school boy, maybe like 5th standard, 4th standard boy. That time, his father, mother, brother, 3 people he lost at once. What kind of shock?
Srinivasan Prabhu.
Srivas Chandra Prabhu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Srivas Chandra.
Yeah. You know him, right?
I don't believe so.
He's a very simple devotee. Leave it. He's a nice devotee. In his house only we are sitting right now. So
Okay.
why I'm saying to now we may be having some issues. Sometimes we may lose some of our relatives, and all that. But imagine how much trouble is there in this. So we keep crying by our own, problems only. So that is because of our self-absorption, like that. So Vaishnava has no problem. Any Vaishnava, if you go like Prabhupada के पास कितने सारे problems हैं. One of the Prabhupada's son gone mad. His wife was not cooperating. Prabhupada's health was never good. But everybody would come to Prabhupada for his problems. You see. And Prabhupada was always, ready to help. He's not thinking about his problem. He's thinking about how everyone's problem can be solved. How others can become happy. You getting this point now? So we are so much crying. It's all our selfishness only. With this problem, that problem. So many problems we keep reporting. No? But why? Because we are not absorbed in service of the Lord. More our absorption is for serving the Lord and serving the people to become Krishna conscious. Our own problems will become minimal. Vaishnava takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why he has no problems. But because he is compassionate toward the fallen conditioned soul, he lost क्या हो? अच्छा फ्रेम में नहीं कौन? Because the Vaishnava fully takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is help. But because he is compassionate toward the fallen conditions, so he is always thinking of plans to save them from their hellish conditions, hellish life in this body and the next. So we should always be, having some plans how I can help others. Like our Sumit Prabhu keeps distributing Bhagavad Gita. Very good. So we should always have some thoughts. How can I help others? We should not just be thinking about ourselves only. Think about how we can expand the mission, how we can help others to become Krishna conscious. And when you do that, you yourself will get so much happy. But we become absorbed. No, Prabhu, मेरा trouble आ रहा है, मेरा mind trouble कर रहा है. Lust is attacking Prabhu, anger is attacking Prabhu. That is problem is there, Prabhu. I am very lazy, Prabhu. I am dirty, Prabhu. I am this, Prabhu. I am this. I. My whole world is I. Hare Prabhu, think about Lord. Okay, you have problem, but you can serve the Lord. No? You can chant, you can read, you can do some service, you can do some preaching. Why can't you do it? So when you do that, then you are not self-absorbed. Then automatically your problems also will reduce. So the point is we are not so much concerned about others. We are thinking about ourselves only. So that's our real problem. So he says, entire world is lacking Krishna consciousness, right? And therefore people are suffering from the grossest ignorance and do not even believe in a life after this one. To convince them of their next life is very difficult because they have become almost mad in their pursuit of material enjoyment. Nevertheless, our duty, the duty of all sane man is to save them. Maharaj Prabhu is the representative of one who can save them. Okay. Then he says, Sudhaksa replied, my dear king, before one's next death, whatever impious act one has performed in this life, okay, then he gives different kinds of solutions. And that solution he gives about, first is Karma Kanda, then he gives Gyan Kanda, and at the end he talks about Bhakti. So Parikshit Maharaj was not satisfied with different answers because all these different kinds of procedures what he gives, it will only superficially solve the problems of living in peace. Karma Kanda means repentance. Okay, somebody has done some wrong act. Okay, they should do some penance so that they are purified from that reaction. But the point is, the tendency to do sin is still there.
All astrologers advise for Karma Kanda.
Yeah, so tendency to commit sin is still there. So only when you do bhakti, then completely get purified from all the sinful reactions. You're getting this point? Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is a verse. Only a rare person. Can you read Chaitanya Prabhu?
Only a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays.
Yes, so you can see that only by performing devotional service, it can be. You can read this in the previous verse. Indeed.
Yeah, in the previous verse, Sukadeva Goswami gave the example that the dried leaves of creepers beneath the bamboo tree may be completely burnt to ashes by a fire, although the creepers may sprout again because the root is still in the ground. Similarly, because the root of sinful desire is not destroyed in the heart of a person who is cultivating knowledge but who has no taste for devotional service, there is a possibility that his sinful desires will reappear. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam,
Yeah, but if you perform devotional service, it will be completely burnt to ashes. Yeah. I mean, the seed also will get burnt.
yeah, I was just thinking about your example in Karmakanda, like performing repentance doesn't take away your tendency to want to harm or do damage to others in the future.
Yeah.
It just helps that one instance.
Yeah. Because that kind, so repentance, what I'm saying is basically penance. They do some penance. Like suppose, somebody steals and he goes to the jail. So that is atonement. Basically atonement, not repentance, atonement. So
Hmm.
atonement is done, but then again he will commit sinful activity. Again he will do that. Like that. So even after atonement, also people don't give up their mental their tendency. Like sometimes, proper example, a woman, she becomes mother. She gets into sex life and becomes mother. And then she says that I'll never again get into sex life, and again I want to go into sex. But then after some times again, again they get into, because there is still desire for family life. There is still desire for sex life and family life. So material attachments are there. So again, one is it gets carried away basically. So only thing is, when we are completely engaging in devotional service, then it purifies us from all, even proclivity of sin. So it completely uproots our sinful desires from root. That is bhakti yoga. That's why it is full-proof process like that. That's what he says here. I'll show you. My dear king, if a sinful person engages in the service of a bona fide devotee of the Lord and thus learns how to dedicate his life unto the lotus feet of the Lord, he can be completely purified. One cannot be purified merely by undergoing austerity, penance, brahmacharya, and other methods of atonement I have previously described. So only by performing devotional service. The path followed by pure devotees who are well behaved and fully endowed with the best qualification is certainly the most auspicious path in this material world. It is free from fear and it is authorized by the Shastras. Then it says, "My dear king, as a pot containing liquor cannot be purified, even if washed in the waters of many rivers, non-devotees cannot be purified by processes of atonement, even if they perform them very well." Although not having fully realized Krishna, persons who have even once surrendered completely into the lotus feet of the Lord, who have become attracted to the name, form, qualities, and pastimes, are completely free from all sinful reactions, for they have thus accepted the true method of atonement. Even in dreams, such surrendered souls do not see Yamaraj or his order carriers, who are equipped with ropes to bind the sinful.
Because of the Tulsi Mala, right?
Because of their surrender to Krishna. He says here, no?
This is when you have this country Mala.
See, one should adhere to the lotus feet of Krishna very tightly and serve him under the direction of spiritual master. This in all conditions, one will be akutubhaya, free from fear. What? You have heard Tulsi Mala?
Like when you wear Tulsi Mala, Yamaraj is away from you.
Yeah, but if you are doing sinful activity and just say, I'll keep Yamaraj away and keep Tulsi Mala, Yamaraj will say, take the Tulsi Mala off, then I'll take it.
No, like she
Remove his Tulsi Mala, then I will take it. Yamaraj can do that also. We cannot cheat in it.
Yeah.
It is that very meaning that you're putting Tulsi Mala means you're following the Bhakti Dharma. Surrendering to the Supreme Lord. You cannot cheat Krishna.
Because it's also the biggest cheat as well.
Yes. So there is a story of Ajamila that we will see. So what he says in the city, can you read, Prabhu? In the city known as?
In the city known as Kanya Oh, sorry, me or Somit?
Okay, Srini Prabhu, you can read. Srinivas Prabhu. Srinivas Prabhu, you'd like to read? Okay, Sumit Prabhu, you read.
In the city known as Kanya,
Prabhuji, I have a baby sleeping on
Okay,
my lap.
Okay. Yes.
in the city known as Kanya, there was a Brahmana named Ajamila who married a prostitute maidservant and lost all his Brahmanical qualities because of the association of that low class woman.
Yeah. Sometimes people are very lusty. Start relation with the maid, servant, sweeping woman, all this stuff. So, Bhakti Yoga is the process of chanting Hare Krishna. Well, tell. So he says that the process of chanting the holy name of God is always superbly effective, but it is especially effective in this age of Kali, holy name of the Lord. Its practical effectiveness will now be explained by Sudhir Goswami through the history of Ajamila, who was freed from the hands of Yamdutas simply because of chanting the holy name of Narayana. So Parikshit Maharaj's original question was how to be freed from falling down into hell or into the hands of Yamdutas. In reply, Sudhir Goswami is citing the example of Ajamila to convince Parikshit Maharaj the potency of Bhakti Yoga, which begins simply by chanting the holy name. So Bhakti Yoga is recommended in the devotional process, beginning with the chanting the holy name of the Lord, Tannam Granadibihi. And even the lowest of the people, most simple people also can get purified by process of Bhakti Yoga. This fallen Brahmana, Ajamila, gave trouble to others by arresting them, by cheating them in gambling, and by directly plundering them. This was the way he earned his livelihood and maintained his life and wife and children.
So he did all kinds of bad things.
Yeah. Read this purport, Pranay Prabhu.
Yeah. This verse indicates how degraded one becomes simply by indulging in illicit sex with a prostitute. Illicit sex is not possible with a chaste or aristocratic woman, but only with unchaste.
So what it means? That means majority of the population in today's Kali has become Shudra only. Yeah. Because they're behaving like prostitutes. They're behaving like this lusty man. So that's why nobody is able to keep the purity. So yesterday he was telling that deep same boy. He was telling that Prabhu, many of the girls they come sometimes to him and he says that they say that they have lost their virginity and all that. So this is how Kali Yuga is influencing so much. Illicit sex has become so prominent actually. So we should be very, very, we have to know that this whole atmosphere is surcharged with such kind of heavy modes. So it's important to keep very powerful sadhana and sangha of devotees. Then only you can remain free from all these vices. Otherwise, one is vulnerably put in this kind of situations. We should be very, very careful. So Prabhupada writes very strongly about all this. Yeah, go ahead.
The more society allows prostitution and illicit sex, the more impetus it gives to cheaters, thieves, plunderers, drunkards, and gamblers. Therefore, we first advise all the disciples in our Krishna consciousness movement to avoid illicit sex, which is the beginning of all abominable life and which is followed by meat eating, gambling, and intoxication one after another. Of course, restraint is very difficult, but it is quite possible if one fully surrenders to Krishna, since all these abominable habits gradually become distasteful for a Krishna conscious person. If illicit sex is allowed to increase in a society, however, the entire society will be condemned, or it will be full of rogues, thieves, cheaters, and so forth.
So Prabhupada says this, the illicit sex is the beginning of all kinds of bad qualities. So as soon as man, connects with woman, unnecessarily, then he loses his purity. His intelligence is lost. And then that fellow becomes very abominable in so many ways actually. Because he becomes impure. So that's the beginning of all his abominable things. Yeah, so read further. Chaitanya, we can read.
My dear king, while he thus spent his time in abominable sinful activities to maintain his family of many sons, 88 years of his life passed by.
Yeah, read. That old okay, you only read Chaitanya because purport was not there. You read.
Sure. That old man Ajamila had 10 sons, of whom the youngest was a baby named Narayana. Since Narayana was the youngest of all the sons, he was naturally very dear to both his father and his mother.
Hmm.
The word pravas,
Pravayas.
pravayasa indicates Ajamila's sinfulness because although he was 88 years old, he had a very young child. According to Vedic culture, one should leave home as soon as he has reached 50 years of Really? Oh, okay, sorry. 50 years of age, one should not live at home and go on producing children. Sex life is allowed for 25 years between the ages of 25 and 45, or at the most 50. After that, one should give up the habit of sex life and leave home as a vanaprastha and then properly take sannyasa.
In that also conditions are there. But as a grasta also, one can only have sex life for getting children, Krishna conscious children. Otherwise, that is also not, it's also restricted.
I read this in Bhagavad Gita.
And then after 50, no more sex life. Then one should retire from this kind of family affairs, and one should dedicate himself completely to God, completely to Krishna. That is how the whole Vedic Varnashram system was designed. So Varnashram system is designed in a way that it is so much of discouragement for family life and for again sex life. So we really have to get purified. So see, brahmachari, vanprastha, sannyas, three ashramas, no question of having any kind of restriction of the restriction in association of women. That is already there. So no question of having this association of women. No question of having association of women. That is in all three ashramas. For Grahastha ashrama, it is allowed, but also with heavy restriction. You see, that means what? That means there is so much of discouragement. Like that. So ultimately, one has to get free from this attachment for opposite sex and all that, and this has to be purified, and one should be able to overcome that. That's why after one person, eventually they should take sannyas. That means he also should become renounced. There's no further in this kind of life. Yes, Satendra, what are you saying?
So the life of a grahastha, right? It's based on this paragraph. I'm reading sex life only for conception of kids who are Krishna conscious, right?
Yes.
Does that mean maybe you can like realistically, however long it takes to get pregnant, and let's say you want 2 kids, right? Realistically, the only times you should ever be engaging in this is until you are pregnant successfully both times. Is that correct?
I understood. Like,
Yeah.
What I want to say?
I mean,
Like he's saying,
until
if
unless
you
a
are planning
baby
the
conceives.
family, right?
Or
Suppose
somebody is planning to.
suppose you want to have 2 kids, so
Suppose somebody.
yeah.
So whenever you have to say no in conversation, always say if someone, like that you should say.
Yeah. Okay. So if someone is planning to have 2 kids, right? So he's saying like once they get pregnant, like for the first time and then the second time. So till then only they'll practice the sex life, right? Not for
Till that
So the point is, Prabhupada says this point. He says that he says once in a month, something like that. He says like that. So basically, it should be only the purpose of procreation. That should be understood. It's clear, no, Chaitanya?
Wait, he said, I'm just trying to understand how does the Bhagavatam or Gita or ISKCON
It should be only for the purpose of procreation to go. I think that makes everything clear. There's no doubt.
does. Maybe I can't fully digest.
No, there is a purpose of procreation only. There is no other purpose, no?
Yeah. And then how many kids generally are allowed or
you can have thousands of kids. There is no restriction to it. But it should be only for the purpose of procreation.
Okay.
Yeah. And what you're saying about, pregnancy doesn't happen. And you're saying that only. No? Sometimes they may want to have, but they may not be able to get them. Is it? That's what you're saying. But it's clear, no? Purpose. Purpose is what? With the purpose of having Krishna conscious kids. That is the only purpose. You getting this point, no?
I get it. I think just my brain.
Sometimes pregnancy may not happen.
Yeah.
So
for that time, like they try again, right?
Again, they may have sex for the sake of children. And yeah, but I don't understand what the question here, because the purpose is listen. The purpose is important. The purpose, no. The point is not just meant for any other purpose.
It depends like on your Like in
Other than
someone's like
sensory artifaction.
kids is not written, then they cannot have it.
No, they were not able to.
So that's like destiny.
Sorry,
So-
something right now.
I was saying like based on their prarabdha and everything, if they cannot have kids, like it's written, so
Correct.
how much they try, it will not happen.
The test tube.
हाँ, पता नहीं ठीक है. So don't divert the topic. The point is very clear. It's meant for procreation.
Yeah.
So clear, no, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go further.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
तो एड्रेस एड्रेस उसका भेजना ना मुझे एड्रेस से क्या आपके पास
हाँ, है
137 days.
137
Bay Street Road.
Bay Street. Yeah.
ठीक है
Oh, Hare Krishna.
So I'm also not know the details, but Prabhupada writes some places that once in a month he writes things. So probably that is for that purpose.
Yeah.
Once in a month he has given regulation, will probably for that purpose. So that like there should be some regulation even for when they're trying to procreate. Like
If
that.
it's like that, then it will diminish with time. That might be the
What?
that once a month will also diminish with time. Maybe diminish like that will also stop
No,
once in a month.
that is told for what? For procreation only.
Oh.
You're not getting the point.
No,
I'm
understood.
trying to connect two things. Prabhupada also says some places
I got it.
that once in a month, it says, no, one can,
Once in a month.
it's like that it is somewhere Prabhupada writes.
Okay.
But Prabhupada also says it's meant only for procreation. So
Oh,
I'm
so
going to connect it.
those two are merged.
I don't know, I'm just connecting it. I don't
Okay,
know.
okay,
So you can ask some grastas, some
okay.
mature grastas you can ask.
Okay.
but it's what I understand from Prabhupada books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prabhupada book says like this, that one grasta is not even restricted, once in a month, no? That also they have like 50, they have to chant Hare Krishna on the 51 now or something like that. For the purpose of procreating the child like that. So
Oh,
there's so many regulations. It's called Garbhadha Sanskar. Then only one should be get, not like cats and dogs. Prabhupada says.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of yajna, that way. Where you are
That timing and everything,
Ah,
at night.
sorry,
At night and everything.
very
Right?
negotiable.
that I don't know. That timing at night. That I don't know.
Like we should not do in morning or it's like that.
Okay, there might be some time. So Prabhu, details I don't know. Please don't ask me so many questions. You can ask them, mature girls that they can answer you. But there is some rules and regulation. If you get into particular details, I may not know. Whatever I can know is from scriptures.
Yes.
So don't get into too much details. No? But Garbhadha Sanskar is the proper way. And there also certain amount of certain chanting they do. There are certain procedures like they do it. The details I may not know. You night mein hai ki morning mein nahi hai, I don't know. That you have to find out details. You know, whether they should not have sex life in morning, inappropriate or whatever. That they have to find out from the scriptures. But the point is, the sex life is only faculty for procreation. That is. So that once in a month thing, what you're saying diminish, that I'm not getting. It's actually for procreation.
Yeah. No, I got confused a little for a second.
It is not like, if you once in a life with a license. Not, I don't think it's a license because Prabhupada never said like this. That sex life is meant for it. No, he just told for procreation.
Only for procreation.
He said like this.
Yeah.
So that's what I understand. So when it said once in a month, that appears like that. But you can check with some senior, they may tell you. But the thing is that it is meant for procreation. That is clear. Okay, should we go ahead?
Yes.
Should we go ahead, Chaitanya Prabhu?
Yes.
Because of the child's broken language and awkward movements, old Ajamila was very much attached to him. He always took care of the child and enjoyed the child's activities. So Narayana was so young that he could not even speak or walk properly. So the old man was very much attached to the child. He enjoyed the child's activities. And because the child's name was Narayana, the old man always chanted the holy name of Narayana. So although he was referring to a small child and not the original Narayana, the name Narayana is so powerful that even by chanting his son's name, he was becoming purified. He did not commit offense basically. He was innocently chanting. So he was getting purified. So that's why they keep the name Vrindavan Das or some holy name they keep. When the Ajamila chewed food and ate it, he called the child to chew and eat. When he drank child also came to drink. Always engage in taking care of the child, calling his name. Ajamila could not understand that his own time was not exhausted and death was coming. When the time of death came, he began thinking exclusively about his son. Now I want to just go to that section where how Ajamila got into this trap that I want to read. Okay.
Prabhu, but this thing is also happening by the grace of like the approval of Krishna only, right?
What?
Just like the act of him calling Narayana at the time of death.
No. So he has performed some devotional service before.
Yeah, that's why
Some kind of thing. And that's why one sage blessed him. And he told him to keep the name Narayana. So he got some benefit of his previous devotion.
That's what I feel.
But he did call Narayana's name that way and got, so that was the blessing of that sage also. That's true. Yeah, that's
They
true.
came
Because
to his
if like
house
a
and-
demon is dying, like the demon monster is dying, and at the time he's saying Narayan, and that's like misuse of that.
No, that's what. Even he will get purified. But it should not be like, he's purposefully chanting the name just so that counteracts his simple reactions. And he has no intention to take shelter of the Lord. Of course, you may not have intention to take shelter of the Lord, but innocently you're chanting the name of the Lord. Innocently means what? Oh, मैंने बहुत पाप किया है, अभी मैं purify हो जाऊंगा. I will get purified, then I will again enjoy next life, something like that. That is bad. That's called on the name of, on the strength of, seventh offense, it is seventh offense.
Okay.
That is very bad. But here he is innocent. He is not thinking like that. So that shows the power of the holy name. How holy name is so powerful. But one should not misuse the holy name.
Okay. That's okay. Now it's clear.
Yeah. So I will. Conversations are happening. Yeah, so see this one. Now here we'll read what this Ajamila was before. Read this, Prabhu. Since the living entity. Chaitanya
Me?
Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay. Since the living entity is associated with material nature, he is in an awkward position. But if in the human form of life, he is taught how to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, this position can be overcome.
Read this translation.
In the beginning, this Brahmana named Ajamila studied all the Vedic literatures. He was a reservoir of good character, good conduct, and good qualities. Firmly established in executing all the Vedic injunctions, he was very mild and gentle, and he kept his mind and senses under control. Furthermore, he was always truthful. He knew how to chant the Vedic mantras, and he was also very pure. Ajamila was very respectful to his spiritual master, the fire god, guests, and the elderly members of his household. Indeed, he was free from false prestige. He was upright, benevolent to all living entities, and well behaved. He would never speak nonsense or envy anyone.
So see what all qualities are there. So many qualities of Ajamila mentioned here. Only thing is his devotional service is not so deep. He was doing it, but he was still in a very beginning stage. He was not like very matured in his devotional service. He was like a Brahmana and he was doing some Brahminical duties like that. Chanting the Vedic mantras, he was pure, he was respectful to his spiritual master, doing all his duties as a Brahmana nicely. He was doing. So here it says, the symptoms of piety are explained in these verses. And it says, in other words, Ajamila followed the rules and regulations of celibacy, the perfect brahmachari, and was a very soft-hearted, truthful, clean, and pure. How he fell down in spite of all these qualities and thus came to be threatened with punishment of Yamraj will be described in the following verses. Read this. So
Yes.
Oh.
Once this Brahmana Ajamila, following the order of his father, went to the forest to collect fruit, flowers, and two kinds of grass called Samit and Kusha. On the way home, he came upon a Shudra, a very lusty fourth-class man who was shamelessly embracing and kissing a prostitute. The Shudra was smiling, singing, and enjoying as if this were proper behavior. Both the Shudra and the prostitute were drunk. The prostitute's eyes were rolling in intoxication, and the dress had become loose. Such was the condition in which Ajamila saw them.
So this is how you can see he got bewildered actually by seeing this kind of. That's why one should restrain himself, from all these kind of situations.
Like if someone is living like Gautam would sit free from all those things, in a secluded place, the Maya will never affect in those love aspects of where the lust comes. पंखा का है और
क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
I'm saying like if someone is living like Gautam would say like how his father kept him away from all those things. So like if someone is like if he wants to achieve like proper lifestyles, so being secluded like away from these like women obviously and all kinds of things, then only it is easier to achieve
Yeah,
that.
that is true. But the point is, that's not so sufficient also. Because the nature of this world is that there will be temptation.
Other
What
kinds
what do you think? Like suppose he's a very pure and then Indra will become insecure. And you think, oh, this fellow looks like very strong and pure. Let me send him upset. Then what do you do? So the point is that in this world, you'll always have some temptations. There are always some situations. So that's why the only way to remain safeguarded, Prabhupada will tell. Oh, we'll read it. Very nice, many things, very wonderful things will come. Read this purport.
While traveling along the public way, Ajamila came upon a fourth-class man and a prostitute who are vividly described here. Drunkenness was sometimes manifest even in the bygone ages, although not very frequently. In this age of Kali, however,
Not Kali, Kali.
Kali, however, such sin is to be seen everywhere, for people all over the world have become shameless. Now, when he saw the scene of the drunken Shudra and the prostitute Ajamila, who was a perfect brahmachari, was affected. Nowadays, such sin is visible in so many places, and we must consider the position of brahmachari student who sees such behavior. For such a brahmachari to remain steady is very difficult unless he is extremely strong and following the regulative principles. Nevertheless, if one takes to Krishna consciousness very seriously, he can withstand the provocation created by
Now, brahmachari is not only brahmachari, grahastha brahmachari. Everybody has to remain strong. There is no compromise to that.
both devotees.
Every devotee has to be strong. Devotee means has to follow principles of brahmacharya in their own ashram. Right.
The only thing was that he got married to a wrong person. That made his whole life south.
No, that the problem began not by that. Problem before began. The problem will come. What problem?
He saw that.
No, that he saw also. That is also another problem.
Okay.
Because the Prabhupada is saying, no, in this Kali Yuga also so much, this kind of things are quite visible. Yeah. That's all. So anyway, you read carefully, you'll understand.
In our Krishna consciousness,
You have to be strong.
Nevertheless, if one takes to Krishna consciousness very seriously, he can withstand the provocation created by sin. In our Krishna consciousness.
See, read slowly. Nevertheless, if one takes to Krishna consciousness very seriously, he can withstand the provocation created by sin. You understand? No? So taking Krishna consciousness seriously is the solution. Go ahead further.
Okay. In our Krishna conscious movement, we prohibit illicit sex, intoxication, eating, and gambling. In Kali Yuga, a drunk, half-naked woman embracing a drunk man is a very common sight, especially in the Western countries, and restraining oneself after seeing such thing is very difficult. Nevertheless,
Now see the solution.
Nevertheless, if by the grace of Krishna one adheres to the regulative principles.
What are the regulative principles? He strictly follows those vows.
Illicit sex, intoxication.
No illicit sex.
Sorry. Yeah. Prohibit illicit sex, and no intoxication, no meat eating, and no gambling. That is.
And regulative principles of bhakti also. That means chanting 16 hours daily, reading Bhagavatam daily, or reading Prabhupada books daily, and staying with devotee association, and performing the artis. So doing very intently the devotional service. When that is also regulatory principle. One has to be strict with the regulatory principle. I say, okay, today I'm not going to chant. Okay, today I will sleep till late night. I'll sleep till late morning. I won't get up. So then what is happening? We are actually not having the fulfillment of it. This gap will be there. And then it will be difficult for us to be able to sustain such kind of different individual display of Maya. So that becomes challenging, that way. So yeah.
Nevertheless, if by the grace of Krishna one adheres to the
One
regular
adheres.
adheres
Mm.
adheres to the regulatory principles and chants the Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna will certainly protect him. Indeed, Krishna says that his devotee is never vanquished.
Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati.
Name bhakta pranashyati. Bhagavad Gita 9.3. Therefore, all the disciples practicing Krishna consciousness should obediently follow the regulated principles and remain fixed in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Then there need be no fear. Otherwise, one's position is very dangerous, especially in this Kali Yuga.
So that's why it is very important to have morning program. Yeah. Because they tell me when you are practicing Krishna, they tell me other day. Daytime you are working. Daytime you are working. Yesterday I had to, I chant to action. Yesterday I had to chant. I came back at around 11:30. 11 o'clock. And 2 rounds chanting, it took almost 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Why? Because we are feeling so tired. How will you chant? So night chanting is so pathetic many times. So it becomes very challenging. But morning if you chant, it becomes so strict. So yesterday I rested less also. But still morning chanting was a bit better than yesterday night chanting.
Yeah.
The morning also still need to struggle. But night chanting is much more troublesome. Troublesome is very struggle. So when we are practicing Krishna, think about it. When we are practicing, the only time we are practicing morning. Whole day we are in job only. Job, then cooking and cleaning. Where our devotions are doing? So something we have to have core. Core means what? That's we do core practice. Core means chanting. Core means it's like what discussing now, reading Bhagavatam. Core means doing arti directly to the Lord. So if these elements are missing from our life, where will we get strength? Then how can we withstand all this passion and think about it? So we have to have some stand, like some storm is coming, you should have something to hold on. We have not holding on. So they said those who bleed in peace, those who sweat in peace, they will not bleed in war. They will less bleed in war. You understand? No? So I'll practice. Yeah, so we have to have a good sadhana so that we should not wait for the storm. So before the storm comes only, we should be very rooted. Like that. Yeah, we should be rooted. So therefore, all disciples practicing Krishna consciousness should obediently follow the regulative principles. So morning program is utmost important. Now, Prabhu, I'll tell you one thing. It's not like it's a pressure on us. We have to feel that need of strength. Then we want to do it. So, and I'll tell you, Prabhu, nobody can make your schedule provided you want to make it. I have seen my life. When I want to decide something, then it happens. If I don't want to decide, it doesn't happen. No matter how much good instructions I give, I do this. I'd always wonder, like one hour of proposal, I was not able to read for many years. I read here and there, but not like without failing 1 hour every day. Once I decided I'm not going to eat, before I finish 1 hour every day. Of course, I can eat little bit in terms of like say talking curd or some bread some juice I may take, something like that. I can taste. But I have some idea in my mind that a meal, like when I have to take proper meal, before that 1 hour should be over. So that gives a pressure. I do it. Why I do it? Because I know now I need it. So if I don't do it, then how will I get that strength from bhakti? So I need some bhakti shakti. Correct? So that bhakti shakti you need to get from somewhere. You read Bhagavatam, you chant holy name. So Rajavu told me before taking first meal, should complete all 16. That's what he instructed. I told Prabhu, I'll take additionally 1 hour reading also. I'll do that. So that we have double strength. So we should force ourselves to have our spiritual intake. Because the nature of our conditioned mind is that it will never want to take nourishment. Just like a child. As a kid, how much we are concerned about our nourishment? Hardly. Parents have to worry, they're not eating. Once as a kid, I was so careless about my eating. So one day, I got up in the morning. I was not able to get up only from bed. No strength. Maybe 2, 3 days I did not neglected eating and all. I was not able to get. Then they cooked some paratha and my mother fed me while I was like this only. And then I got. Remember, I could sleep, bro.
Yeah.
I was not able to. Hands and legs completely gone. No strength only in the body. And then I got strength. So my father, I don't know, I was playing as a kid, Prabhu. How much I care about eating as a kid? We don't care. No? Krishna Balaram were playing in the forest. Mother Roni called. They were never wanted to come. Busy playing. Kids are not so interested in eating. They are interested more in playing. Actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point is that what I was saying, saying what I was saying,
Eating.
no,
Not
not
lying. You need power. You need strength.
You have
Ah,
to adjust your schedule.
yeah. So I was saying that how that's no. So my father many times would, so my mother start cooking, no.
Yeah.
When she start cooking, then I go to bed and start sleeping. The mother said, "Cook cat." When I'm going to cook, this fellow cat will sleep. This is like how it does. And then my father would many times would feed me while I'm asleep. So my father says that yesterday what did you eat? I said, I did not eat. Then my mother would say, you ate 4 puris or something like that. She would say. So many times my father would feed me. So he so much pampered me that it appears like that. He while sleep only, and he said, and my father says, when I feed you, you have to eat, and after that, I am sleeping like that. So I many does not know that I've eaten. So the point what I'm trying to tell is that I never cared about my health, but they were concerned. This fellow will not survive.
Yeah.
This fellow will not have proper body, not proper health.
Yeah.
So they have to do something. Then they will that's why worry about giving us milk. My mother many times, she would bring some milk and she would give, take that, drink this. I'm not like it. And she would put Complan also, Complan or Bonvita or something. She would drink this. I'm not like it. I'm not like it. I may Horlicks like this I can eat, but with milk I'm not like so much. So my mother said, no, drink it. Boost also. No, drink it. I had to drink it somehow. So what I'm saying is that now I myself is taking that, multivitamin tablets and all because, I know that I have suffered some health issues in India also because of what is B12, B12 and all that.
B12 and injections.
So to be very honest with you, I still am a bit careless. One more of those things gets over in time. Mine is still a lot of pills are still remaining. So what I'm saying is that is carelessness. Understand? So just like I'm careless about these things. So if you're careless in spiritual life also, then what happens? Then my spiritual strength will not be. Then we'll fall sick. Then we get succumb to temptations. So point is that until we don't take the responsibility in a room, it becomes very challenging. Like Ramchandra purchased that multivitamin, he put on my table. And second bottle also has come. And I told him, my first bottle nahi khatam hua. Mine is over, but you is not over. You understand this point? So I have kept this on the table so that I see it and I eat it. So the point I'm telling you is not that. The main point is that even if so much help is given, it's still if I'm not consciously doing it, I will not do it. See?
Yeah.
So because you can bring the person to the well, but you can't make him drink water.
Yeah.
You can give the food to him to eat, but you have to chew and you have to put it in your stomach. No? The same way, so much of good instructions you may get, but until we decide, I need a morning prayer. You may have 10,000 excuses. No, I have a hectic schedule, I have this. Yes, with all that, you need morning prayer. I also had hectic schedules in my, company time, this and that time, but I had some morning prayer always. So we cannot compromise that because then we will only lack a skill. So when we are sick also, sometimes morning prayer will be difficult sometimes. But you have to keep reading, hearing. Because mind will not say, you are sick, so I will not trouble you. It won't say that. Mind will say, he is sick, Papa, I will not trouble you. Sick, no? After you become cured, then we will start troubling you again. Then we will play the game. So mind doesn't stop playing the game, because you are sick or you have some other situation. She is continuously fighting. She has no rules. Kshatriya, they have rules. If you are not on a chariot, if you are not having weapons, they will not attack.
Yeah.
But Maya will have any rules like that? Maya will not have any rules like that. Maya will attack you all the time. You're sleeping, you're eating, you're drinking, day, night, no rules. Maya will attack you constantly. So that's why we have
to have our own interest, to have our morning program. So when devotee would say that dharma rakshita rakshita, you protect the morning program will protect you. आप धर्म की रक्षा करो, धर्म आपकी रक्षा करेगा. You protect the religion, religion will protect you. Same way you protect your morning program, you protect your chanting, take out time and chant well in the morning itself, get up in the morning, sleep early in the night. You do all these things, that will protect you in turn. That's why he's saying. So all the several practical Krishna should obediently follow the regulative principles and remain fixed in chanting the Holy Mantra. Then there will be no fear. You always have healthy fear, but you'll confidently go to progress. Otherwise, the position is very dangerous, especially in this Kali Yuga. Read this further. You have read. Yeah, you read.
Yeah. The Shudra, his arm decorated with turmeric powder, was embracing the prostitute. When Ajamila saw her, the dormant lusty desires in his heart awakened, and in illusion he fell under their control.
Yeah. That's why one should be careful. When we are also, in this world of Western world India, then so we have to have a very strong purpose of whatever we are doing. We should not like be mindless. So they say, when our eyes are not having any kind of when you are like purposeless, mindless, then our eyes can become like flickering. So be very careful. So we have to be mindful and immediately we should cut off. See, mind tends to get into some kind of idleness. Idle curiosity, idleness like this. So it can be very dangerous sometimes. So we should be very, very focused. So really when you're traveling, we can just we can just hear the lecture, absorb ourselves. Same way, you don't have to look here and there too much. Sometimes you may want to know the city, but then you should have a purpose to know the city. To have, there should be some clarity. Otherwise, you may sometimes get into some kind of, you may encounter something and you may get, unnecessarily petrified. So you have to be a little mindful of it. So that's why there should be high, fiery like intent, all the time, active in our life. There's sometimes आपको भी exam देने जाना है. So you have exam, you have to go for exam, and they have only a few minutes remaining, and that will give you a big job, something like that. And you have to go from here. So will you be interested in what people are doing? Who is saying what? Which boy is proposing to which girl? Will have any interest in all this thing? You will be running. By late or now, that exam. You understand? My job, my career. Correct? Or suppose any of your near and dear relative has got trouble. So suppose accident or you have to go to emergency in India. So will you get anyway interested in any affair of somebody, or somebody is not properly whatever is smoking, drinking, or not interested or dining with women? These things will not much big there because you're so much occupied with a purpose to go and save that person and take care of him. Correct? No?
Higher purpose.
So in the material life also it works. So anyway, now our problem is that we are not so much purpose driven. We have still very weak kind of will to go back to God. We are not so much always having that thing. That's why we have to increase that fire. How to increase that fire? Put ghee, put fan. So that is how. That's how scriptures. That's how get in the sangha of devotees, fiery devotees. Read Bhagavatam, chant with devotees. So you have to make that fire strong. Sometimes we will come to temple, then fire is always about to go away, and then it came. Then survive.
हफ्ते भर में मेरा काम होने लग जाता है, मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम के तो फिर आ रहा है.
So it should not be like that. We should keep the fire always on. Sorry?
अखंड दिया बोलते हैं ना.
So Rajama says this, like say your tawa is very hot. Then you put that dosa batter, then what happens? Immediately it can come out. But suppose the tawa is thanda, then you put the butter will the butter will sit there only. Batter will sit there only. So then you cannot remove it. It becomes very sticky. Generation is always hot. Hot means what? That so when so many things are there, the worldly things are there, then you can just immediately detach it. You should not allow yourself to get affected by things of this world. But that is only possible when we are very fiery. So to remain always fire of our devotion, fire of our bhakti should always be strong. And that is only possible when you associate yourself with fiery devotees, associate with Bhagavatam, associate with holy name nicely. Then you'll have that clarity. We will have that vision with that clarity by which you can be free from all this illusions and temptations and all that. Yeah, go ahead. It is said that
It is said that if one's body is smeared with turmeric, it attracts the lusty desires of the opposite sex. The word Kamaliptena indicates that Shudra was decorated with turmeric smeared on his body.
yeah. So nowadays people instead of turmeric, they may use many cosmetics. They want to put so many cosmetics so that they look very attractive.
I didn't know turmeric was used for cosmetic purpose.
Turmeric is one of
Yeah.
the
Skin.
anyway, here. So people use all this varieties of deo and so all different perfumes also and also cosmetics to make their
Makeup.
makeup and trying to glow their skin
Just
and
to
so
look
many
good.
things.
Just to look good.
Yeah, to attract basically. So they want to become more what do you say provocative. They provocatively they present themselves. So actually, if you see now carefully, this is a strong need of the soul to have that love and attention of the Lord. But because they've given up the Lord, so they are simply become so shameless to somehow attract the attention of people in this world. So basically, is there an ardent need of the soul? Because they're not just innocent. It's like a child who doesn't get the love from his parents. Then he becomes so selfishly demanding, so he becomes very disruptive, you see. Because that is not God. Then sometimes it becomes criminal also in many things. So actually, it's a need of the soul to get the love of Krishna. But not having that need fulfilled, we become so deceptive. Then we want to, then we see how people can dress anyway, people can eat, do anything, just to get some attention, just to get some kind of, kind of. This is a psychology actually. Yeah, because they want some attention. Like, like the lady who is country dress and all, she doesn't have any anxiety, whether people are looking at me or not. There's a psychology. Because they seek attention. Just like children, they seek attention. Same way the ladies also seek attention like that. So they may be, so that's why they want to do, they want to dress anyway and all that. That's for seeking attention. Because that's their nature. That so children and women, they always are attention seeking. So because they're not getting the needs fulfilled by having Krishna's attention on them, they're not able to get that. Then they will seek like this in a very materialistic way. That's why in Vedic life, the women were given so much of respect and attention also, but in a very, very, very positive way. Like always, the women always be protected, by the husband. When a very small daughter and father, grown up their sons, they always take care. Women were taken care properly. They supplied all the necessary things. So when they're taken care, then they're protected, then they're sheltered. When they're satisfied, then they will not have unnecessary this kind of illegal, illicit ways of presenting themselves. But now the women, nobody is taken care. Women are not taken care properly. So then they become very asar. They become like very whimsical and that way. So maybe it comes out that way. So that's why one should be very, very careful about this kind. One should know there are different ways how the world is working. You should know. And one should safeguard himself. And we should sometimes innocently, people may be, decorating themselves and all, but one should know that we are becoming used, we are used by the entire psychology of those people who are in power. Because the whole society is driven by certain kind of, psychology like that. See, basically, sometimes people down the line may be innocent, but they are victimized. They become victim of the current society. Because majority of the people are like that. So they also become victims. So like, even if you want to go, for purchasing and all, you get those kind of items only. Then you are so manipulated. People are manipulated actually. Then they also want to purchase those kinds of things. So even sometimes somebody may be innocent, but he still is applying something. You're innocent, interesting in certain ways. So this is how innocently they have become part of that kind of society, materialistic society like that. So that's why we should be very much convinced about our Vaishnava philosophy and Vaishnava culture, which is based, like suppose you may be wearing dhoti kurta, tilak, you don't even conscious also that what tilak means. But just because of that culture, innocently you are wearing tilak. But tilak is what? It is actually lotus feet of the Lord.
Lotus feet and push.
And dhoti kurta is what? It is a dress of the Lord. These are the devotees in Vaikuntha. You may not be aware of it. So this and this sadhiki, I mean, this kind of simple attire and devotional attire, how it affects your devotional mood, you will see eventually. It happens. So we should become used by the devotional culture. See, we become victimized by materialistic culture, right? So that is prominent psychology there. We may not be aligning with it, but because we don't have other options, we become victimized. Then eventually we also get into the same trap.
Yeah.
Correct, no? So we should, for counteracting, we should identify our Vaishnava society, whose purpose is to please Krishna, serve Krishna, to increase our devotion. So even though we may not have conscious endeavor in that way, to be wearing, not consciously thinking, but just being victimized in a positive way, in a devotional culture, that increases your devotion for Krishna. You understand? No? The same thing it works. No? So there we are not manipulated. There we are empowered, in a way. So it is like we are tricked by the devotees and devotional culture to become more and more devotionally, our devotional growth. Clear, no? Like suppose we come and say Vancha Kaltaru Vaishya, will do. Now you may not be even conscious that I am offering my respect to that devotee, I'm trying to be humble and all. But just by doing that, it will arise some feeling of respect for that devotee. Next time you want to shout at that person, you will think twice. इसको तो चरण पे गिरता था मैं कैसे इसके ऊपर कैसे मैं argument करूँ? You understand? There is some kind of cultural block to behave erratically. You know, so like when you are touching the feet of parents every day and all that, can you slap them? Difficult for you. But modern people, they don't even care. They can beat their parents also, but they have no culture of that. You getting, no? So even though consciously you don't do, you are protected. You see, you are helped in a way which is favorable for your growth devotionally. So that's how the Vaishnava culture is very good and important. Even though consciously you're not so conscious, still when I do it, it will bring some kind of humility, some kind of respect and all that thing. Okay, next. Stambhyan atmatmana manam yavat sattam yathashrutam na shashaka samadhuvatatum manomadan vipritam. Read. Chaitanya Prabhu, read.
Sorry, I'm just in the bathroom. 1 second. Can I come back in like
No,
1 minute?
yeah. No, you can.
Hey, Prabhuji.
Yeah, read it, Srinivasan.
As far as possible, he patiently tried to remember the instructions of the Shastras, not even to see a woman. With the help of this knowledge and his intellect, he tried to control his lusty desires. But because of the force of Cupid within his heart, he failed to control his mind.
Yeah. So certain nature of the woman I was just trying to remember. So recently you were hearing about it. See, one thing is about women attention seeking. They also have that sense of having control. They can tend to be very positive also. Tend to control positive. So if suppose some woman, they get some boy who is there because he is attracted, he is a lusty fellow. So he may want to satisfy her differently. So when she gets some kind of control, then that is how their lust is. So their lust comes in terms of control. Their lust comes in terms of attention seeking. It comes in different way. It's a psychology. So for a man, the lust is more in terms of like pleasure seeking, enjoyment, trying to enjoy that. So the thing is that one should know this material mind, how it works. One should refrain from that. We should know that this is actually so all things are because we are lacking Krishna's love. That's why the lust is there coming in different ways. So all these problems can be solved only when we are having developed for Krishna. When you are receiving our love for Krishna and our heart is really filled with that love, then this kind of psychology can be counteracted. Correct, no? Because then we don't want to serve the Lord and serve the devotees. Yes, Prabhu, you can go ahead. Read the purport.
Unless one is very strong in knowledge, patience, and proper bodily, mental, and intellectual behavior, controlling one's lusty desires is extremely difficult. Thus, after seeing a man embracing a young woman and practically doing everything required for sex life, even a fully qualified Brahmana, as described above, could not control his lusty desires and restrain himself from pursuing them. Because of the force of materialistic life, to maintain self-control is extremely difficult unless one is specifically under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service.
See, big Rishi Muni also got carried away. Vishwamitra Muni, you know that, right? Shabri Muni. Shabri Muni only saw some two fishes mating. He was meditating inside the water, but he got carried away. Now who get disturbed by seeing some fishes mating? You don't even know also who is male fish, who is female fish. You may not even know also.
But how?
But Shabri Muni got affected. So the reason was he has committed offense to Varuna also. So when we also become offensive and all, no, sometimes, then we lose our devotional strength, basically. So the point is we need devotional strength to be able to face this kind of temptations.
अच्छा ठीक है प्रभु अरे वो इंटरनेट ऑफ कर दो हाँ ठीक है प्रभु हाँ ओके ओके हाँ हाँ मैं जा रहा हूँ यस प्रभु हरे कृष्ण
चार मिनट के बाद जाना।
वो बोले 10:17 में 4 मिनट में ही आ रहा है
हाँ ठीक है, 4 मिनट के बाद जाना। 10:17 पे जाना। So even a fully qualified Brahmin as a Skydiving could not control the Siddha and restrain himself from pursuing him. Because the force of materialistic life to maintain self-control is extremely difficult unless one is specifically under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service. That's why you need protection. So one should always seek protection. You know, like Prabhupada said, no, I kicked Mr. Lust on his face. And then Prabhupada was praying next in the temple. Prabhupada, what you're praying? I'm praying to protect me from Maya. Well, you just said that I can use the left on his face and now I see. But so because I'm praying always like this, that's why I can say that. That's why I can say like that. So always we should seek protection. Seeking protection means what? Actually taking shelter of the devotional service. That means taking shelter of chanting the name of the Lord, taking chant. So actually that's how a devotee when he gets up in the morning, he should be helpless. You should think I have to. It's a great battle ahead in my life today. Whole day, you know, Maya is going to attack its own beings. I need strength, I need protection, O Lord. So let me chant my rounds very nicely. So then we will not be casual. Then we will prioritize. You understand? We will not have good effort. Imagine, no, today battle is there, you know, and you have to, or today exam is there, and morning you have to supposed to prepare this much, and you got up 8 o'clock directly went to the examination. What will happen? You get 0 marks. You have to study in the morning only, no? Yes. Correct? So now if you don't do that and you directly get into examination, it will be troublesome. It's so difficult. The same way, before we start our day, we should have a morning. Morning class is like that. And I'll tell you, Prabhu, if you do that now, how Krishna will give you time, you will not understand. Krishna will give you amazingly so much of time. You fix this thing and then you struggle. So I tell sometimes you should think like this. I don't have 24 hours a day. I have only 21 hours. If Krishna would have given you 21 hours, would have not got everything managed in 21 hours. Correct? But because we assume no, 24 hours, whole thing I have to, then man, let's keep managing. So we have to cut off. Just like we need time for eating, we need time for our bathing and all that. We don't compromise. We need this. If we have some medical issue, we do it. Same as is required for us. And that will give us proper discrimination and all by which our time will be saved also. Krishna will save a lot of time for you. You won't even get it. How many things will set right? Like for example, today, I was so much concerned about how this thing has gone, mobile was gone, all that. So I would have got very panic and I would have tried many things like that. No? But Krishna gave intelligence. This is only what he passed over. I was feeling very bad and I'm wasting his time. I was feeling very bad also. But somehow, with the right person, because he is like, very properly disposed devotee, he won't feel like, too bad about it. And he went to the next, so he's very intelligent also. So you understand this point? Yeah. So I'm not trying to say that for my mistake I should waste others' time. That is inappropriate. But what I'm saying is that there are many things which are not in our control. Many things are not in our control. Okay. So you can join online. You can keep reading. Join the Zoom. Zoom to join, no problem. Zoom? Yeah. Huh? You just learn it, not too much. Zoom is a Zoom. You have joined the Zoom, no?
I
I can't see him, but join the Zoom, Prabhu. Zoom. Yeah. So what I was saying last week. What was the last point I was saying? Srinivasan, what was the last point I was saying?
As far as I remember, it was just this, really. No matter how much of a Brahmana you might be, there's always the potential for
Thing about that, right? Exam and all.
Okay.
Directly we go to the
Ah,
war,
correct.
so we should every day wake up and take some protection.
Yeah.
So
You are saying
morning program is very significant actually to get protection from all the attacks of the Maya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, see, first thing is to do morning program. Second thing is the morning program is not some ritual. It's a taking shelter. It's like you're in the war, you have to fight whole day. And it's the only time when you have to get your bullets and you have to get all your strength and everything, you have to eat well, you have to do some exercise. And then you have to go in the war. So actually we have to visualize like that. We have to picturize that change.
It's a necessity.
It's a necessity. I cannot afford to be weak there. You have to put the two, number two. Press number two. There. Go ahead. Press two. The last one, right more button, right one.
It's making sound, right?
Yeah. So, so what point I was saying? That we should keep that. That is a necessity. We have to keep
Morning
that.
program.
Morning program is a necessity. So basically, we will not take chance, no? We will then do it. And it's not just ritual. It's actually, it's not just a ritual, but we'll actually take it with the proper spirit. We're taking shelter. It's not we're taking shelter. Yeah. So devotee is not like, okay, sometimes what happens when we are attacked by some lust, we are attacked by anger, we get some trouble. Then we come to Lord. Hare Krishna, our chanting is very intense. No?
Yeah.
Because now we are attacked.
Yeah.
But when devotee understands that the battle, Baba, I can be attacked anytime. I need strength. Only not by after you get wound, then only you become very serious up to about all the medications and everything. You have to be serious even before also, because it's battle going on. So we cannot take risk. That's why those whose purpose has become very clear. Vyavasatmaka buddhi ekakarunana. My purpose is to go back to God. The focus has come. Then we become aware, what I need to do now. Because there's a battle going on. See, for Karmi, there is no battle only. Because वो माया के पार्टी में है, battle ही नहीं है. They don't even perceive the battle. You see, we perceive the battle because we are trying to go against Maya, trying to go back to God. So to the degree you are trying to go back against Maya and going back to God, the purpose has become strong. To that degree, you will face the battle from Maya. Otherwise, you won't even realize there is a battle going on. You understand? So to the degree we have got that focus of going back to God, we are serious about going back to God. That degree you will face the battle. You will experience this battle is there. And to that degree, you will hanker for morning prayer. You will hanker for having chanting nicely. You will hanker for reading Bhagavatam. You will hanker for understanding, praying and deriving strength from all these great souls. Then you will feel helpless. No, you want strength. Fair or not? Like I remember in my school, I had to study math, something I was not getting. And board exam, I wanted to get good marks. So, and nobody was able to explain, properly and make me understand it. Our school teachers were also not accessible and all that thing. My father was not, he was in 10th standard or something. My father, I was so anxious. My father took me to different, in village, some maths teacher, different maths teachers. He literally, he was taking me to this math. He said, can you explain it? That's another person, can you explain it? Can you manage? My father was like that, like practically, because he was also doing more some maths concepts. This some chapter I was not understand. So that time YouTube and all that was not there. So that time so he literally took me to some place, and they tried to understand. They couldn't answer him much. But somehow I was a little bit at least helped. But you understand this point? So when you want, but suppose I'm not having, I only to get into board and crack and get good marks, then I won't see it as struggle. I want it to see. So that's how we have to make our purpose. So because of to maintain self-control, unless when it's protection under the protection of Supreme. So morning we have to take shelter of the Lord. So my spiritual master Nirmal actually says that when Brahman when gets up in the morning, he understands how terrible, how difficult it is to have creation. That's why morning, every day morning he will do tapasya. Every day morning he does meditation. His morning program. He does it. Then he does the duty of creation. First morning hours he does only meditation only. Just tapasya only. Okay. Then next is that. Read further. Srinivas, you can read. Or you have read it, I think. Who has read it?
I can read.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the same way that the sun and moon are eclipsed by a low planet, the Brahmana lost all his good sense. Taking advantage of this situation, he always thought of the prostitute, and within a short time, he took her as a servant in his house and abandoned all the regulative principles of a Brahmana.
Yeah, so see the mistake what happened further was he was thinking about it again and again. He was thinking. So that's why now we should have always busy services, busy engagement, so that even if something here and there has gone in our mind here and there, immediately we should have so many activities to do, divert our mind, so many positive Krishna activities. You understand? No? So that way we can remain safe. Because there is a principle of dhyato. Dhyato vishayantam sangasthesh upajayate sangha sanjayate kama. Kama krodho vijayate. Krodha bhavati sammoha. Sammoha prati vibrama. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. The following sutra.
I just read like a few.
So we had elaborate discussion here in this house. We did that. So this is following sutra. That means, so see there is different stages to it. The first stage is that it's like a passing thing. So many things are going as a passing thing. But it's like a passing attention. Things are going passing attention. But this is called dhyato, passing attention. Then dhyato vishyan punta sangas teshu padayate. But then you develop attachment to it. So if you don't come out of that initial contemplation, if you still continue thinking about it, contemplating about it, what happens? It becomes not just passing attention, then becomes I like it. There is attachment. And then further it becomes more. I cannot live without it. That is become lust. That means it has become uncontrollable craving. It's called lust. So from passing attention to I like it to I cannot live without it, or uncontrollable craving. And then what happens? Anything which has become obstacle, because obstacle in getting that, then anger. We become angry on any obstacle. Whether it's some man, or your own father, your own anybody, you become angry on them. You want to destroy them to achieve that what you're craving for. And then what happens? Then you become then krodha, krodha bhati sammoha, and then you become bewildered. Sammoha is spriti vibrama. Spriti vibrama is what? You cannot understand between good and bad. Memory is lost. Sammoha is spriti vibrama. That means you lose distinction between good and bad. So, bewildered. So you take bad to be good and good to be bad. Smriti Brahma, so Smriti Brahma, Buddhi Nasho. Buddhi Nasho means you take good to be bad and bad to be good. And Smriti Brahma means you lose the distinction between good and bad. You can't understand what is good and bad. And Buddhi Nasho is more further. You take bad only as good and good as bad. That is Buddhi Nasho. And Buddhi Nasho means God. So here some Acharyas also explain it's Smriti Brahma. What is Smriti? Smriti says about Smriti is Smriti Shastra. Scriptures. So when we are losing touch with the scriptures, then Buddhi Nash will happen. So we have two types of Buddhi. One is called material Buddhi, spiritual Buddhi. We are talking about spiritual Buddhi. The spiritual Buddhi also at two levels it exists. One is that you borrow that Buddhi from scriptures. And second kind of Buddhi is that Buddhi is internalized in you. That is Buddhi Parivasita, the next verse it comes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Prabhu, I am Dandavat Pranam Prabhu, I am in middle of the session. Can I call you? Yeah, I'll call you in 15-20 minutes.
Thanks.
Hare Krishna. So, your boss's friend had called you. Your boss friend. No, sorry, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, so I was saying the next verse it says Buddhi Parivarstichate means when you have smriti, that means when you are referring the scriptures regularly, then what happens? Then you have buddhi, by which you can work properly, right? And eventually when you keep working, then the buddhi becomes internalized also. You know? So till the time that buddhi internalized means what? Like for example, sun gratification will lead to misery. We know it from scriptures. But have you internalized it? No. We have not internalized. Why? Because if that buddhi is weaker, I mean, if we are not reading, hearing regularly, then what happens? Then we become erratic. We get into some category. Right? That means our buddhi is not internalized. So that means till our buddhi is not internalized, we need supervision. We need to be accountable. We need chastisement. We need all that, correct? And we need that connection with the scriptures very strongly. Our sadhana has to be very strong. All the more strong because buddhi is not internalized. So we need that. That's why daily reading is important. Daily reading, regularly, daily is important. Because then we have that buddhi. Smriti matlab that shastra that touches that. And then your buddhi will be clear. And then you can safeguard yourself. Correct, no? So here what is happening here is that he actually, he always thought of that prostitute, contemplation. So that happened. And he could have diverted his mind. He could have told his father, Papa, aisa ho gaya, okay, come with me. We will read Bhagavatam for 5 hours now. He would have forgotten. Correct? Yeah. But that he diverted. So it is important. So what happens? The another thing I was thinking yesterday, I was also telling you, we had a reading Bhagavatam in other houses. So I was telling that we have to divert our mind. Prabhupada says one of the ways to control the mind is to divert the mind towards very critical. So see, if you make a routine where you have every day reading Bhagavatam, every day morning prayer morning, so that means inevitably you are diverting your mind. Even though last day you have so many tantrums, this and that. True. Morning you're again back to chanting. Yes. You're back to reading, back to hearing. Yes. Then your mind is diverted. You see? So you get strength and you're diverted. See, 2 things happen. When you go in the problem, contemplation increases. Like Ajamila, is thinking, and see so much problem. The whole life got spoiled. So first thing, diverted, 2 things happen. You are safe from that problem. And second thing is, because you diverted to something nice, Krishna conscious thing, your strength also increases. 2 things, 2 benefits. But if you don't have a routine, if you don't fix that routine of morning program, then what happens? You lose both. Then you get up suddenly, and then you remember all the previous yesterday's, and you have no strength also. That's why your material life continues. See? So that's why having a regulated Krishna conscious lifestyle is so important. So important. Even at the cost of somebody criticizing us little bit, अरे तुम ये, your parents are saying, तुम काम नहीं करते हमको, क्या तुम दिन सो गया? No problem, that doesn't matter. You will please them more in future. But when you're a good devotee, you're saving yourself and saving your, you'll help a lot. I see, I've got so many complaints from my parents, so many complaints in terms of not calling this and that, whatever. But I see it's not like they're unhappy. I mean, when you go to home, they're in good terms. Yeah. Things are going on nicely. And they will appreciate also. Father appreciates so many things. Because they accept me like what I am now, you understand? So, just by satisfying everybody in this world, you don't think that you go back to God. No, it is not our business. We are not unnecessarily trying to dissatisfy somebody. Unnecessarily, we are not trying to discard someone. But I'm telling that we cannot afford to not have our spiritual strength. That I'm trying to tell. We are not purposely trying to be irresponsible to anybody or to give, not neglect somebody. We are not trying to be responsible. But our first responsibility is our own strength in Krishna. That is our first responsibility. Like chanting is your first responsibility. Right there. The first. So if you are not keeping the first thing as first, then become illusion. So many duties are there, Prabhu, so many responsibilities are there. Prabhu, I cannot chant, I cannot read, I cannot hear. Take care. At what cost? We have to decide. You understand? So if you are strict, sometimes people will be upset with you. But Krishna will be pleased with you. Guru will be pleased with you. You will get strength. And with that strength, you will even help them also. Correct? No? So you read the further. By speaking. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, I can take the channel.
By speaking this verse, Sukadeva Goswami wants to impress upon the mind of the reader that Ajamila's exalted position as a Brahmana was vanquished by his association with the prostitute, so much so that he forgot all his Brahmanical activities. Nevertheless, at the end of his life, by chanting the 4 syllables of the name Narayana, he was saved from the gravest danger of falling down. Salpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato.
Yeah.
Even a little devotional service can save one from the greatest danger. Devotional service, which begins with chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is so powerful that even if one falls down from the exalted position of a Brahmana through sexual indulgence, he can be saved from all calamities if he somehow or other chants the holy name of the Lord. This is the extraordinary power of the Lord's holy name. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, it is advised that one not forget the chanting of the holy name even for a moment. Satatam Kirtayanto mam yatantas cha drida vrataha. There are so many dangers in this material world that one may fall down from an exalted position at any time. Yet if one keeps himself always pure and steady by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he will be safe without a doubt.
Yeah, this is the most powerful statement. Correct, no? So you understand, no? Swami Pranay, you heard this purport? No. Why? While taking out your breath, you can hear. No? So what is saying that one keeps himself always. Can you read again, Chetan Guru? They'll hear again. The Bhagavad Gita is advised. Read.
Yeah. You want me to start? Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is advised that one not forget the chanting of the holy name even for a moment. Satatam kirtayamto mam yatantascha dridda vrataha. There are so many dangers in this material world that one may fall down from an exalted position at any time. Yet if one keeps himself always pure and steady by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he will be safe without a doubt.
So yet if one keeps himself always pure and steady by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he will be safe without a doubt. So see, what he's saying, even for a moment, one forgets. So he's saying, so there are so many dangers in this material world that when you fall down from a exalted position at any time, you cannot say I'm very advanced. No, that's why we have to remain steady. So daily chanting 16 hours, very vital. We cannot, how will you stand the force of mind? You have to feel like that, because you have to know that big personalities also, they had challenges. So I need to take shelter. But by Lord's protection, you will be safe. Then you can nicely progress in Krishna. You have to keep always pure and steady by chanting Hare Krishna Mantra, then you will be safe without a doubt. Yeah, read this. No, sorry, you can. Yeah. Srinivas Prabhu, you can read. Yeah. Das Ajamila.
He says he's away. So I can read it.
Achha, that is the meaning of being awake, yeah?
Away. He said getting coffee or something. That's the emoji he put.
Oh, that means that I'm awake. Oh, achha, I never knew that. Oh, okay. Read it.
Thus Ajamila began spending whatever money he had inherited from his father to satisfy the prostitute with various material presentations so that she would remain pleased with him. He gave up all his Brahmanical activities to satisfy the prostitute.
Yeah. Correct. No? So, Prabhu, I think we'll pause here. I don't want to. We'll pause it. We'll continue later. Sorry. Hare Krishna. So was it helpful? You can just share one reflection, then we'll end it.
No, I was just thinking about what you said towards the beginning, because I myself may be getting an arranged marriage. So, of course, in today's day, it changed significantly from how it used to be with like my parents' time, when you would not know the spouse, like maybe up until a week or so before the wedding, and then like that level of commitment changes significantly. If before that week you found out that they were gone, you wouldn't care. But then right afterwards, the commitment is made, then suddenly everything is lost. So it's just interesting how quickly or how easily we can attach ourselves to just a simple title in that sense or bond. But even more so, I was thinking of all the qualities of Ajamila, and I was thinking, oh, this person is very pious. He's perfect, right? But it's true, like no matter what, material world can win over anyone. And so you need something that's even more like the four regulative principles and like constant chanting and that. But even then, the last one, I think, what really was his problem is after he indulged once or here, he brought the servant back, or he brought the prostitute back to his house. So allowing yourself to continue to fall down is arguably much more dangerous than any one lapse here and there. So you need to constantly reinforce and reiterate a good, reinforce a good surrounding association so that those temptations don't arise.
Correct. And there are any kind of slips and falls, one should come back at the earliest. If it is a devotional service, that way it will be rectified. And but in the very first place, if somebody keeps a strong sadhana and a strong morning program, then he will have less lapses also.
Yeah.
He'll be able to withstand all these attacks of Maya also. Yeah, we are serious. We are serious people here, right? We are trying to be seriously wanting to go back to God. So we should be frank about our practices. We have to be that we are discussed that. Important. Because at the end of the day, we cannot give excuse. No, we cannot say no, I was busy with this, I was with the child, was not strong. No, ultimately we will only not getting all of it. Like when you are preparing for IIT, it is not that okay. Oh, you had this reason, no, correct. That's why you could not prepare for IIT. Okay, no problem. No, you are losing the seat. You will not get college. You cannot give reasons. Okay, you have reasons. Okay, with all the reasons, you are not fine. If you are satisfied with the reasons, you will be satisfied. With all our reasons, we can remain in material world. So I cannot. That is, but you cannot take. But you cannot take chance. You cannot take chance. We have because there are no reasons. We have our own. We are not willing. We think other causes are more important than the cause of going back to God. That's our problem. And we think that actually, when you have the cause of going back to God as the first cause in your life, then that will even help all other causes also properly. Like, if you become pure devotee, then automatically you're relieving your parents also, you're helping them also. You're doing best service to them. The best service you can do your parents is you become a pure devotee. Materially, you keep struggling and all, how much you can help. Body anyway will fall apart. Yes, Srinivasan Prabhu, you want to say any point?
This is Vishnu. No, baby.
Vishnu, yes, Vishnu, what do you want to say?
I was only there when my dad wasn't there.
Okay, your dad is not there. Yes,
Yeah. So one thing in that we
Points to say.
discussed, right? Like mera, like we do. Like, so I think because of that, like if like something happens in my family or something, then I am concerned. But if like all the neighborhood or anything is happening in the world, then I don't.
We don't even think about it.
We don't even think.
But you see how much people are paying by so many things.
Yeah, like wars are going. Like
sometimes someone's child, died in the accident, completely butchered. I mean, that's completely rolled on.
Every day something is happening.
So many things happening. So now, if same person would have been our relative also, then we become so much. Then we also will come in. So if you see the pain in this world, if you can relate to it, then you will think of committing suicide every moment. That's how purity feels, pain. And he doesn't commit suicide, he's in knowledge, so he will perform the service, he tries to preach. With that vigor, he preaches also. Because he feels the pain of so many suffering souls, you see. That's why he cannot, that's why I cannot sleep peacefully in the night. When people are suffering in this world. That's what they feel. That's why they forget they're eating, sleeping also. Of course, we should not become, we can eat, sleep, and then save the world also. But the point is, understand, we cannot do because people are suffering so much. So much work to do.
But suffering is not like it's happening like on its own. It's happening because of our past deeds, right?
The point, and try to understand this point. You cannot tell them where their past deeds happening. They are suffering because they are stuck in this material world. That is the root cause of this. They can be relieved of all suffering if they get to know about Krishna, they will go back to God. That you know now. And they don't know it. So how much you feel responsible
Karma
to
cycle they can break. They don't know.
how much you feel responsible to give, because you know the medicine. See? And if you're able to feel the pain, you know the solution for that pain. Solution for the pain is not that the karma should be this. When they take bhakti, automatically the solution is there. Because they'll go back to God, you know. Even their Krishna may allow them to suffer still in certain ways.
Yeah.
But to get their purification. But the point is that on the track of going back to God, they have to land the suffering.
Yeah.
Right. So you're actually helping them to get rid of all the sufferings. Material platform, if you have no spiritual knowledge, you try to help, like some people, you know, they want to help cancer patients, feed poor. They're materially doing, they will never get success. Even if you do all success, feed everyone, train to all cancer patients, they still keep suffering in this world and they're not in this material world for millions of births.
Yeah.
What is the use of that kind of serving, you see? That's why philanthropy activity has no use, Prabhupada says many things. But real philanthropy activity, when you do it in Krishna conscious perspective, that is a real philanthropy activity. That is then I have to head to the office. Yes, no problem.
Bye.
Please go. Thank you so much, Atanaru, for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
Radha Prabhu.
Bye.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Bye,
Krishna.
Somit Prabhu. Bye, Pranay Prabhu. Bye, Srinivas
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Get on the appointment.
So Prabhu, for me, like this II point was actually a thing, like eye-opening thing. And secondly, well, we did have like many conversations other than those subjects as well, like regarding my questions. So I did get clarity.
Regarding?
The question which I asked,
Anger one.
anger, lust, all that, and about this Ajamila. So like the purport which you said, like the Sanskrit shloka, in which first it's like, then it's lust, then it's anger. I've experienced all that, so I understood like, okay, yeah, like I had to go through that so that I could understand. People already have scriptures for that. Like I'm just thinking, if I had this knowledge before only, I would have been saved like from so much of trouble before. So all this I'm like getting to know more and more about it. It is like, I mean, everything is already there. It is given. We are just not using it.
Correct.
So
That's why you have to read them.
Yeah.
it's foolish. Like Prabhupada says,
When we become read them, we understand it, become so happy. But we lack it, then we are absorbed our own problems.
but
Nobody can help you. You feel like
yeah, that's how that when I was feeling like I can not do anything, like I've done many wrong things. It's the end. Then I just opened, like I was crying and I opened Bhagavad Gita. Then that was came. Like no matter whatever abominable activities you are doing, if you like say
that was came directly.
that came
Directly. When you opened
So I'm getting goosebumps right now.
it.
Yeah.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
That time you just opened that was only.
Yes, I more cried then. That was like no, what that abominable activity.
Yeah.
You will get it. Will like everything will get over. I
Correct.
might not be exciting and perfect, but that was it. That gave me that hope to just get out of that thing. Yeah.
Good. Very nice. So that is how we have seen. So Hanumanji was offering the intention to Krishna, Ram so much that he was not affected by any temptation. You see.
Yeah.
I will discuss about it, about how
He's the greatest brahmachari.
I was telling about the intention. I think I did not explain to all of you, but this is a very important topic. Someday remind me. I do different Gita class at different time, different place I speak. But I think I to some of your group I couldn't speak this. But this is a very important thing. I think I've someplace I speak. But this is about this part of chapter in Gita, second chapter, very, very powerful. You remind me sometime I want to do this series for your group also.
Yeah. Okay.
In some retreat we can do it. Second chapter of Gita, we can complete that. Very powerful. Very a lot of practical tips we get in that. How to safeguard ourselves and what we should do and what Bhakti Yoga is giving us, to make us more and more evolved and be protected. Very nicely explained that. Srinivas sir, you want to share any point? Okay, I think we'll pause here.
Yes.
You want to share any point, Vishnu?
No.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Where your father is where?
He's now parting.
What?
He's parting.
Okay, okay.
शायद
Correct.